Right, today I'm going to give you a brief guide to making a graph suitable in APA format using Excel, and we're going to look at the output of a moderated regression, just in case you happen to have an assignment or a lab report coming up sometime in the next few weeks. Alright, so I can't use the assignment data file obviously, so I'm going to go back to an example that we had a look at many weeks ago. We were looking at the effect of academic difficulties here on someone's level of happiness. So this was the IV here, academic difficulties, and our dependent variable here was happiness. And we'd hypothesized that self-confidence would have a moderating effect. So if you're highly confident, you can give me the most difficult content in the world and it'll be water off the duck's back, won't affect my happiness. In fact, I'll be loving it. But for everybody else, if you've got moderate confidence, then it really will lower your happiness. It's not so much fun having academic difficulties. And if you're really low confidence, that's really going to affect your sense of well-being. So what I'm going to do now is just rerun the regression analysis. We go to the Analyze Regression menu. We go here to Process. I'm just going to click on Reset. Alright, now our dependent variable is happiness, and that's our Y variable. Our level of academic difficulty that's our independent variable. So we pop that in. Now in Andrew Hayes speak, it refers to the moderator as W. So we want self-confidence. We pop that in there. Now just make sure, in case you've been doing mediation is 4, moderation is 1. I'm not going to change any of the other settings, leave it at 5,000. What I do need to do is go in here into options. Now our moderator here is a self-confidence rating, and you can see here from the confidence it goes from about 1 to about, I think, 30, 40, something like that. So it's a scale and it's a continuous variable. What we're going to do now is go into options. We're going to go to this one here that says conditioning values, and we're going to take this continuous moderator and break it into 3 categories. So at the mean, for the average level of self-confidence, then we'll have for -1 standard deviations below, and that'll be our low, and +1 standard deviations above, that'll be our high. So I click on this radio button here. I'm not going to change any of these other settings. For decimal places, if you're doing a write-up, you'd want the probability values as 3, but you might want to rerun it again with the decimal points rather with 2, so you've got your coefficients. Now I'm going to tick this box that says generate code for visualizing interactions. What this will do is give me SPSS syntax to make up a scatter plot so that we can see the simple slopes analysis. Click on OK. Let's go to our output. Thinking. Alright, so we can see here overall model. We can see here the outcome is happiness. Our IV is academic difficulties, and our moderator is W. And what it's done is it divided our level of self-confidence into 3 levels here. We have low, medium, and high. And it's taken a continuous variable and put it at -1 standard deviations below and +1 standard deviations above, and you can see here in the middle that is our average values. You see for the first 2 slopes they're significant. The slope is statistically significantly different from 0, but for our high academic confidence group there's no effect whatsoever on the dependent variable. So that's the output of your simple slopes analysis. Now the beauty of using Andrew Hayes' process is it actually gives you the syntax there and more importantly the data values. So I want you to double click now on the text here. I want to select this text here from the word data all the way through to the end. Make sure you go all the way to the end so you get the full stop. And just hit Control C for copy. Open a brand new window there. Syntax, just paste it in. Now you've got to hit Control A to select all. Make sure you do hit Control A and then click on this big green button and draw your graph. Pretty crap graph though. So what we want to do is double click on this now, go in the data editor, and if we want to try to save this and maybe use it in SPSS, we could double click on these values here, the data points, and if we click on the variable tab, instead of a marker for the data point, we can go to fit line. If we click on apply, you can see what I showed you in the tutorials. For the high confidence group, and I'm just going to put a label there because the numbers aren't very helpful. A high confidence group, you can see pretty much a straight line, no effect on the DV. For a low confidence person, we have here this regression line. It's pretty steep, goes all the way down to below. And I'm just going to, just for completeness, I'll put in medium. Alright, now this isn't an APA, so click on that, delete. We'd have to make this 12-point font. Should do Times New Roman. I'm going to go Arial because it's prettier. Okay, and you have to do the same for there. But it's still not nice. It's not an APA format. You'd have to change the border and the background. And there's too much stuff to muck around with. So we're going to show you how to do a nice, pretty graph that's in APA format. Alright, so our copy and pasting of the syntax wasn't wasted because we've got now, if we go into here, we've got the actual values that processors used for each of the IVs, moderators and DVs. So what I want to do is just select this text and go to copy, Control C, or you can just go to the edit copy menu. And I want to open up a brand new window in Excel. Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to paste these in right here. Now, when you paste it, the first thing you'll notice is it hasn't split them evenly into B, C, and D. In fact, it's actually included all of those values in the one column. So you can't do much with that. Sometimes it'll do it nice and neatly, but most times it won't, which is a bit of a bugger. So what we're going to need to do now is go to select this column here, and we go to the data window. I want to go to this button here that says text to columns. Now you can do delimited if it's from another data file, so if it's separated by commas or tabs. We're going to leave it at fixed width. We click on next, and I can actually adjust these columns here so that it specifies a cutoff. So these will all go in column 1, these will go in column 2, these will go in column 3, and just click on finish. Alright, so that's looking a whole lot better. Now the way SPSS works with the process output, it puts the independent variable in the first column, the dependent variable in the second column, and the middle column that makes for the moderator. Let's stretch that out. Let's get that all looking nice. Okay. Alright, now you can see here for the moderator, it's taken the average value here and then taken -1 standard deviations below and positive 1 above. So this is our low level of the moderator. So low self-confidence. This is our medium, and this is our high. Alright, and what we need to do now is create a new column over here, low, and hit the tab key, medium, high, and I want to copy the values of the DV here for the low group. These 3 ones here, I copy, so edit copy, or just go to right click and go copy, and I'll paste that in. Alright, do the same for these ones here, copy, paste, and do the same for these ones here. Because when we want to graph it in Excel, we need it laid out this way, so each under a separate column like that. But SPSS gives it each as a separate row. Alright, so this is our self-confidence, moderator, and for our independent variable, which will go there, would also have a low, medium, high. You could call this moderate, whatever you'd like. Basically, it's the middle value. You could call it average if you wanted. Now, what I want to do is I want to take these numbers here for the low self-confidence, and I want to make a graph. So I select just these 3 in that column, go to insert, I go to recommended charts, I want to go to all charts, I want a line chart like that one. Yeah, that's looking good, and then click on OK. Alright, that's looking nice. So for the low self-confidence, you saw back in SPSS that blue line there. Alright, now what I want to do is I want to add these other columns here. So medium and then high. So I want to right click on the chart and I go to select data. I want to add now a new series. So each slope or each level of the moderator will be called a series. And the series name, it's going to be medium. And for the values, I'm going to click in this box and actually delete that. If you forget to delete it, you'll get a error in Excel. So select by clicking and holding and then dragging down those 3 values there. And then click on OK. And then I want to add, the series name will be high. Now the values, if I just go like this here, it'll give me an error. Yeah, so I've actually got to go into the values section here, delete, and select those 3. The name I'm going to grab from there. I'm just going to change this first slope here. For some reason it's got series 1. Go to edit, and the series name will be low. Alright, we need to do a few other things now. So for the horizontal axis, we've got there 1, 2, and 3. I want to change that, so I click on edit, and I'm just going to select those as well. There we go. Alright, so now we've got a chart, and it's looking pretty snazzy, but we need to make a few changes. First things first, we need a axis title. So, for this one here, we name the dependent variable happiness. I just click in here, happiness, And for this one here, level of self-confidence. Okay, so that's not looking so bad. I might make it just a little bit bigger, just so we can see what's going on here. Alright, now I'm going to need to change some formatting settings though to get this APA. First things first, I want to get rid of these horrible grid lines. I just click on them to select, delete, gone. You notice we don't have an x-axis, so I want to, a y-axis, so I want to click here where it says in between those two numbers there to select it. No, keep on clicking. There we go. Double click. Alright, now I want to go to the formatting menu and I want to click on this button, subtle line. Okay, and I do the same for the x-axis, double click. There we go. And format subtle line. So now we've got an X and a Y. That's looking better. Problem is the font's pretty darn small. So I select this and I go to Home and I go to good old friend times New Roman and I'm going to put 12 point. In fact, if I'm going to shrink this, you may even need just a little bit higher. But 12 point is what we're aiming for. And I do the same for this axis, times New Roman 12. Now, for this one here, I definitely need a bigger font. So I'm going to go for 14, just because I want to make sure it's clearly visible. And the same for this one here. Alright, so that's looking pretty darn good. It's a bit sort of compressed, so I might make it just a little bit bigger. Alright, okay, so we've got to do a few more things. One problem that we've got is that these are in colour. Now, I love colour. I think it looks pretty, but if I'm going to print it out as an assignment, it would be black and white, and that would be within the rules of APA. If you're going to submit it via Turnitin, and that's the way you've got to submit it, you're going to get colour though. So we need to change these colours. So what I want to do is double click on this blue one here. You see here it's selected it, and it's even showing me the values it's coming from. Instead of blue, I'm going to go for a, let's say, moderate grey. Well, let's go here. Alright. Now if I wanted to, I could even change it to something like this, something that might look nice, just to distinguish it from all the other greys. Now the orange one here, I'm going to make that a really dark grey. And for this one here, I'm going to make it a black. And I'm going to some dashes. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. Now, one thing about APA, we don't do chart titles. You actually give the information about the chart in the bottom there in the figure caption. So select it and delete. So it's all looking pretty good. What we now need to do though is add an axis, because I know which is the high and the medium and the low self-confidence, but the reader won't. So we click on this box here and we click on the box that says Legends. There we go. Our legends there, nice clearly visible. They won't be in 12-point font though, so let's catch that. Alright. Now, if I right click on this and then copy it into Word, there'll be a problem because there's actually a border around our graph. See how he's got that grey there? So select here, make sure we go to border and we go no line. Alright, so I'm going to right click on that and copy, and I'm going to open a new Word document. Paste that in. Okay, bad judgment call. I probably should have stuck it at 12 point and not 14. It's just slightly noticeable there. Now I'll put a figure caption, figure 1, full stop, effects of academic. Oh, I just realised I made a terrible mistake. For the axis, that shouldn't be level of self-confidence, that should be level of academic difficulties. My apologies. And while I'm there, I'll change it back to 12 point. Okay, so I'll copy that graph again, delete that, gone. Effects of academic difficulties on self-reported levels of student happiness with self-confidence acting as a moderator, as can be seen from the regression slopes. The 3 groups differ. But you'd still need to present your simple slopes analysis to actually show that it's statistically significantly different. Okay, so that's how to make up a quick graph in Excel. Hopefully that's been helpful to you.